It's my feel-good breakfast show.
That's right, you got family in your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso, and here he is, JP Sebastian, Fast and the Furious, now in its 10th edition. This is just a little teaser that we have for this particular movie. Otherwise, first impressions. I want to start there.
First impressions, much more on the Fast. In fact, a great deal more Furious to the power of X. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm ready to try
to the power of X, that's good though. I mean, that's good.
Find X. The way you do that is today, buying tickets. So let's let the movie speak for itself. And what I want to do for you in this segment is I just want to give you a summary of where we find ourselves, etc., etc. But mostly I'm interested in just the background to this. And obviously that big F word is the one that you used a lot now, family. And this is the featurette that we're showing you right here for Fast X, is the whole family telling you what it felt like making this movie.
It's been 22 years since we started the saga. How did we get so lucky to come so far?
This family is ready to come back together.
It's a dream come true. I mean, it's definitely bucket list for sure.
Boom! We're at the apex of this franchise. Fast.
The heart and soul of the Fast and Furious franchise, boots on the ground, on location. The more movies we make, the bigger they get.
We continue to outdo ourselves.
Because we owe it to our fans.
The enormity of everything hits you like a right hand to the jaw.
You still know how to drive? Every time I'm on set, I have to pinch myself.
I am now a Toretto.
You are now a Toretto.
I just have been badgering them to participate in this. It's such an honor to be part of this family.
That's the problem with having such a big family. How do you choose the ones you save?
We're so lucky to be able to continue this saga for all of you.
Man, and look at that, bigger stunts, more shifting one's reality as to what's possible. I love that.
Shifting one's reality. We need like a physics professor from UCT to just come here and weep because this movie dislikes physics, which is great.
Yes.
Like I always say, dude, if I'm spending the kind of money I am on your action movie, it better be preposterous with a capital P.
Yeah, use the cinema's audio opportunities as well.
Every centimeter of the screen to do the goofiest things you can. Especially when you go on competitors like, John Wick or Mission Impossible, you gotta go big. And the family's bigger. There's Rita Moreno for a start. One of the other additions to this family is the director Louis Leterrier.
Okay.
And it's strange that he wasn't sort of included earlier because people will probably know that name from The Transporter 1 and 2. The movie where Jason Statham was asked to oil himself and then slide around on his body.
That was a very cool scene.
It was very strange. Awakened new sensations in me as a man. I want to be oiled and slide around the studio. So, the director who previously wasn't doing car movies with these guys had worked with Jason Statham before.
Yeah.
Now we find this family unit at a point where Vin Diesel's son is at an age where he's already teaching the little 6-year-old to burn donuts.
Okay.
And so this is a new possibility for a threat from this character, Dante, played by Jason Momoa, who is himself the son of a guy who previously you just saw there getting offed by Vin Diesel, Dominic Toretto, in the movie where they drag that safe. Was that number 7? Yes, I think it was.
Yes.
I think that chase scene was so ridiculous and over the top. They were like, we have to revisit that. There's a chance he might not even be the son. I think he's just an aggrieved scientist who's like, how do you do that with a safe? Not possible. So ridiculous stunts, obviously, in this too. It has to go bigger, it has to go larger, and there were whole scenes where I'm falling on the floor and going, nah, that's not possible. But you did it. Congratulations. But I'm going to get into the evaluation a bit later.
Please.
So what you got to know is that what's very sweet is that the whole team's here, obviously Ludacris, Tyrese, and they get split off geographically into different places. Reasons might be legitimate, might be that they're being framed. I don't want to give away too much.
Okay.
And a new frenemy, because like we were discussing while we were showing that clip, what's weird is that, I mean, what is it you noticed?
No, I noticed that in the Fast and Furious movies, every time there's a villain, they collect family.
Yes.
So once they defeat the villain, they're like, hey, you want to join our squad?
And I compared it to for you to that video game, Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, where you beat the pain into a dinosaur so bad that it turns green and turns into your ally.
Yeah.
Weird description, but you get the idea. So, in fact, Jacob Toretto, long-lost brother, who was enemy to Dominic Toretto, is called back in this. And so there are a lot of, not cameos.
Statham was a villain too.
Statham was a villain. He has a cameo where he's like, right, now I'm your bud, let's go fight. And so different cities, goes from Rome to Rio de Janeiro, finds itself in Antarctica. Letty might fall into a bit of trouble where she meets another possible frenemy. But main thing here is that now the stakes are higher because he's got his son, they've got his son, Michelle Rodriguez included. The Helen Mirren returns. She was a frenemy as well.
Yes.
And main thing is that you've got Dante, this character played by Jason Momoa, who I'm going to describe a bit later. A very sassy man. But the movie speaks for itself. And like I said, I want most of us to see like the behind-the-scenes stuff. I miss, you know, tactile stuff, using actual stunts, using actual pneumatics, using actual movement of cars, destroying stuff, blowing stuff up. And that's just what you get in a movie like this. They have to stand up to the bar that things like Mission Impossible set. So let's look at some of the explosive behind-the-scenes stuff. Fast X.
We are locked off, just clearing on the northbound, on the south clear.
So we've been on a lockdown highway, a big highway, 2 lanes on each side.
Tell me when you're ready. In position. Pops on clear.
All right, guys, tuck in, please. And these 2 helicopters come in on either side, and they skewer into the side of Dom's car and try and pick him up.
Here we go, and 3, 2, 1.
And Dom keeps fighting them like crazy, and as he gets the back end to hit one last time, he hits the NOS. And he jumps from one freeway
3, 2, 1, go!
over to the other freeway and lands on the other side. Helicopters land in a big burning hole behind him. So that's it.
I'm pretty enthused by that because I got to see what the live action, you know, the play, the movement, the way the things are directed.
They made a gun that fires a car from a highway to a highway.
That's so cool.
And with all the CG that we're inundated with, sometimes once in a while, it's like, please, dude, just like endanger a whole dealership once in a while, man. You feel the movie differently when you know that there isn't computers involved in the making of these stunts.
But do this purpose, though. Don't do a Michael Bay and just have a helicopter for a day and just do something with it.
Oh, geez. Ambulance. Anyway, another story.
Yeah.
But Fast X, let's get into the evaluation and the scoring and the meat and potatoes and the nuts and bolts and the gears and all that stuff in the next segment.
Absolutely. So look forward to that. Fast and the Furious. We've got the latest installment. JP Sebastian's going to give you a proper unpacking of what it is to be family in the next couple of minutes. But let's get you, our family, something special too.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. We missed you. It's your feel-good breakfast show with your family. JP Sebastian talking to you about Fast and the Furious, the 10th installment, 20 years of Fast and Furious, and I'm sure you watched that first one.
You
the
were
beautiful
in a trick.
stories. I know.
You weren't allowed to drive in this
Do you know how many people in my life wanted a Supra, like after that first movie? It is crazy. But we have to do a proper review and get into it. We set the scene. It's now a chance to actually get into the nitty-gritty. So, JP Sebastian, Fast X.
JP Sebastian first wants to show you a clip then from, like I said, we can boast about all these stunts. And like I said, what's so nice is that they're tactile.
Yeah.
It's not all trapped inside a computer and whatever. And one of the most exciting chases for me was between Letty, which is Michelle Rodriguez, and Jason Momoa, playing this Dante character, this new nefarious evil guy, who I'll describe a bit later, in a motorcycle chase scene, surprisingly enough, in the car movie.
Nice.
Just be warned, it's clipped up here and there and whatever, the way it was delivered to us, because the scene goes on a lot longer in the final movie, don't worry. But here it is, a little look at Fast X.
Moving to this.
Get out of there! It's gonna blow!
Letty!
Bravo! It's getting tricky, guys. I can't stay on him for much longer.
Okay, but you...
Can you yell
That's why I got love for these movies, because you get a glimpse of it, like one of those. That was really cool, though.
I'm sitting there with my pen and paper like a nerd in the cinema, and then eventually I'm going, yo!
Yo!
No, that was a cool move.
That was so cool.
One of my favorite chases. Yeah, for sure.
Like I'm freaking out of it now. Now I'm into it. Like now I want to see this.
Yeah, out today. Just by the way, just so you know. And one of the things that you pointed out is even if you're not a car guy, a car girl.
Yes.
They had to sort of make a move eventually. It's really a tightrope. Like, do you stick to people being like, no, we want to see the street races, and you do get some of that here. You're not totally necessarily cheated out of that. But then dudes like us who are probably just Dune nerds, and like Vin Diesel, who in real life is an actual nerd, he's big into Dungeons and Dragons, actually. Yeah, which is a movie that's...
And Michelle Rodriguez got the nod for that.
Whoa, we're seeing a bit of a strange fetish. It doesn't matter if you know cars or not. If you know the previous stories or not, it's not going to leave you lost. You're not going to be driving in a cul-de-sac or whatever. It is, at least as a positive to me, more cogent than stuff like... I struggle. I actually have to like go for, I don't know, a psychiatric analysis or whatever when I watch Transformers. That stuff is so broken and so disjointed. When you split up the team especially, Michael Bay's got this problem of, oh, quick, look at this. Don't look at this while I bring up this. Oh, please, look at this next. There's like almost a weird, like...
The last night, that's what happened in Transformers.
A bit of an issue for me. This, however, manages to keep a flow and stay cogent, not in a way that is necessarily masterful or whatever, but you're just going to watch a blockbuster movie.
Yeah.
It's not there necessarily to change your world or whatever. Like you said, you see it on TV, you go, I'm kicking back on the couch.
I can just relax, and I mean, I'll leave it on. I don't need to actually see, oh, what is the narrative here? Like, there are movies for that. Like, Nolan does that for me. I can sit and get cranial. But like this one, I just want to relax and enjoy it.
And this is the similar feeling. It's the bare minimum that a blockbuster should have for you.
Yeah.
You're not lost and confused and whatever. Aside from that, like I said, if I'm giving you money, make that stuff preposterous.
Yeah.
And the action is bonkers. In this scene alone, Vin Diesel has a run-in with a construction crane that makes no sense. I promise you there's going to be some sort of referendum that science is broken, never mind the vaccine conspiracy nonsense. Fast and Furious is the real problem that we're having with physics as it is. So the other thing that I love here is Jason Momoa. He's a sassy, saucy, spicy man.
Yeah.
Very zesty. And he does this tightrope of not being too Power Rangers bad guy. In a weird way, like it's not over the top. And whatever, Power Rangers is fine. It's fun. It's for kiddies or whatever.
Yeah.
This is too. But he's not overly serious, but he's not overly stupid at the same time. And I kind of like the addition there. Some of the cameos are a bit silly. Like Jason Statham isn't given the kind of breathing room that you would have thought. It's just sort of like he had 5 minutes during his day and all this rave about The Rock being in it. Don't get your hopes up too high. But it is cool seeing John Cena come back in a way that's quite playful. He becomes like the caretaker to the son while Vin Diesel's doing his own thing.
Yeah.
The problem is that as I was writing this note about it getting all cogent and at least feeling like it's got a sensible enough flow that it doesn't leave you scattered to the wind, is that there it started to lose itself in the bushes a bit. It's like, cool, why is there this whole scene that feels pointless? So at the end of the day, the entire thing does end up feeling a bit like filler. In the way, like, Hunger Games had like 4 movies, and there was number 1, part 1, and number 3, part 1, and number 3, part 2. This is a bit of filler in that way, because it's going to be a part 2. It hits the spot, though, as far as blockbusters go, and we'll learn more about that spot as I show you an upsound between the sizzle of Dante himself and Dom in Fast X. Here's a look at a final clip of the baddie and the goodie.
You remember my father?
Hernandez.
My father was a horrible man. Very bad daddy. But I kind of liked him, and you took him from me when you stole our money and left us with nothing but suffering.
That's what I came here for. To end that suffering. Oh, and I didn't take that money. I burned it.
Okay, we've been teasing all the way through the morning. Let's go for popcorns, JP Sebastian.
6 out of 10.
6 out of 10.
Blockbuster fodder, get on with it, go watch it, you're gonna love it. But there's a part 2 coming out next year.
Okay, there we go. That's all you need to know. And the thing is, we like the practicality of Fast and the Furious, the reality of it. I feel like let's take this to street level, Graham.